afternoon. I guess it's just pre-noon, but coming up on the show today, got great interviews, the three best interviews perhaps of the year so far. We've got Blake Hawksworth of the St. Louis Cardinals. Blake Hawksworth of the St. Louis Cardinals plays pitcher, starting pitcher. You can hear his story coming up very shortly. Also, Lance Broadway of the White Sox. That'll be up soon. And don't forget, you've got an opportunity to hear Adam Greenberg of the Cubs minor league affiliate right here on Down on the Farm.
Hey there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. It's a bright, sunny afternoon, and what a beautiful day for a ball game.
I'm talking baseball, like Reggie Quisenberry, talking baseball. Carew and Gaylord Perry, Seaver, Garvey, Schmidt, and Vida Blue. If Cooperstown is calling, it's no fluke. They'll be with Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Now, ESPN 95.9 is proud to bring you our weekly minor league baseball report, Down on the Farm, with our minor league baseball expert, Andrew Force.
Told you about Blake Hawksworth briefly in the introduction, but let me get to him real quick now. He's a starting pitcher. He's currently playing for the Palm Beach Cardinals, which is the high A affiliate of the St. Louis Cardinals. Goes low A, high A, double A, triple A, major leagues. Blake's problem has been injuries, not talent. He's got the best stuff you can find in the minor league system. He's had some serious injuries, and I'll talk to him about that right up front. But also, keep in mind that this guy, he's got all the reasons in the world to hate baseball, to have a negative attitude, and I think that it permeates the interview, his positive, uplifting attitude, and that's something that you don't always get from athletes. So, without further ado, Blake Hawksworth on Down on the Farm. Welcome back to Down on the Farm. I'm joined with Blake Hawksworth, minor league prospect with the St. Louis Cardinals affiliate, Palm Beach Cardinals. Blake, first off, we've got to talk about the injuries. I mean, that's been a big part of your career so far. How do you get past that mentally?
Just faith. I mean, it's the last couple of years have been tough. Obviously physically, but mentally as well. Just patience is probably the biggest thing. The Cardinals have been real patient with me, which has made it easy on that side. But, at times last year I was questioning if I'd ever even make it back. And, it just, you got to keep digging, you got to keep working, and just have faith that everything's going to turn around.
You've had a great start to this season, and congratulations on that. Do you think that it's something new, something different, or is it just getting back to what you know you can do?
Yeah, my arm is in better shape, obviously. I'm able to pick up the ball on the fifth day now and, compete and warm up without pain in my shoulder, which is a big thing, because last year every time I threw, there was something going on, and that's just tough to take that out in between the lines and compete and be confident. So now, got over that hump, and now my confidence is starting to get there, and I still don't feel like I'm completely back to where I was, but it's just starting to get more comfortable, every time I pick up the ball, so it's been good.
What pitches do you throw?
Fastball, curveball, changeup, and I just started throwing a little cut fastball that I threw my last start, and it was successful, so I'll probably stay with that.
Cut fastball to me sounds like the hardest pitch to hit, just because if you think about a fastball moving that well, and then it's also, obviously the fastest pitch you throw, how is it not the most difficult pitch to hit? How can a hitter hit a ball that's moving, 85 to 90 and also sliding side to side?
Because sometimes hitters just get lucky and it runs into the fat part of the bat. The way it sounds unhittable, but, Mariano Rivera has the best one ever, and, he gets hit sometimes, so I don't know.
Looking about the injuries you had, what have you had? You had, was it ankle?
Yeah. Towards the end, actually, when I was in Peoria in 2003, my ankle kind of ballooned up on me, got swollen, and didn't tweak it, didn't twist it or do anything. It was an old high school injury, and just always a weak ankle, but I did something to it, I guess, and pitched through it that year. Got moved up to Palm Beach, threw through it, and then towards the end, it was just killing me, and Dr. Paletta was with us at the time and said I had a talar dome lesion, which I'm sure not a lot of people know what that is. I don't really know what it is still, but basically there's a bone spur in there, and basically the middle part of my ankle and had to be removed. And so that could have correlated to me hurting, my shoulder that winter, just because the ankle's a tough rehab. And, I came into spring, and then I had my shoulder. My arm was hurting me all spring, and then I had 2 starts in '04, and then it just ballooned up. My shoulder looked like there was a softball in the back of my shoulder.
Wow.
And, yeah, it was pretty nasty. And they tried to rehab me for a couple months. Nothing worked. Went to Dr. Yoakum and had the surgery on July 4th of 2004.
Does that make you tougher, more motivated, or is it just draining on your emotions?
Well, I've seen both sides of the perspective, because at that point in 2004, I was kind of at the top and on the fast track. And now, with 2 surgeries pretty much back to back, it takes the wind out of your sail big time. But I definitely don't take my health for granted anymore. It's only made me better mentally and physically.
Did you have a moment where you considered retiring, even at your young age?
No, I never got that low. But the thoughts crop up into your mind. I mean, when I was in Jersey and I couldn't get a guy out there and my arm was killing me, I had talks with my parents and a lot of emotions were coming out of me, and it was tough. It's the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life. But like I said, it happened for a reason, and it's only made me better.
Talking with Blake Hawksworth, pitches for Palm Beach Cardinals. Let's switch gears a little bit, looking at Dane Walker, the guy that signed you.
Yep.
He signs countless players every year. I mean, that's his job. Find guys, sign guys, contract. Does he even remember you? Do you talk to him anymore?
Yeah.
What's the relationship there?
My relationship's good with Dane. I had a lot of scouts in high school because I had another guy who's pitching in the big leagues with the Royals. Andy Cisco was a first-round pick.
Okay.
He was on my team in high school, so we had 15, 20 scouts at every game.
Jeez.
It was big time. And it seemed like all the scouts tried to hustle and feed you all this fake hype about where you're going to go and, all that stuff. But Dane was always real. Dane was always low-key, stayed in the back, didn't get in your face. And I always respected him for that. And when they drafted me out of high school, obviously I wasn't ready to sign, so I ended up going to junior college. And Dane just continued to be there. Came into my summer games leading up to junior college. My family liked him. Just a great guy. So I talked to Dane probably, I don't know, once in the off season, once in the season. Just check in. How's it going? He coaches a basketball team up there in Oregon, and I used to coach my JV basketball team in my old high school, so we have that in common too. So we talk basketball a lot too.
What team do you follow in college basketball?
In college basketball, I'm a big UNC guy just because I'm a Jordan fanatic. So I like North Carolina and probably Arizona, local, just on that West Coast side, Pac-10. I like Arizona.
Before a start, do you listen to music, and how do you isolate yourself mentally from everyone else on the team?
Before a start, I do listen to a lot of music. iPod's with me pretty much the whole day. But as far as isolating myself, I visualize. I'm a big mental, visualization guy. I've always done it since I was young. It works. It's proven. So I tend to do that a lot. And I don't know. I'm pretty loose before the game. If you saw me, I'm not, John Rocker in the clubhouse. Yeah, I'm pretty loose. But once the anthem's over, I dial in.
The Cardinals left you unprotected in that last Rule 5 draft. Was that insulting to you?
It wasn't insulting. I mean, I didn't give them a reason to protect me. Hurt the whole year, and just Jersey was pretty much a flop, health and performance-wise. So I wasn't hurt. I mean, they've been great. Like I said, I want to be a Cardinal, and them not protecting me didn't hurt my feelings whatsoever.
New Jersey Cardinals have pitched there twice, 2 different stints. It's no longer in existence. I mean, there's a team there, but it's independent, not in the Cardinal system at all. What will Cards prospects of the future miss from not being exposed to that town atmosphere, that pit stop on the Cardinals rung?
Oh, man. They're not, in all honesty, they're not going to miss a lot. I consider that a blessing that they're not going to make it up that way anymore. Are they still in that New York Penn League?
They were. The team that they have there now is not.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about how good the league is. I love the league, but that you could do without that place in Jersey, for sure. No love lost.
Baseball America has been really down on the Cardinals organization, I'd say, I don't know, 2 or 3 of the last 4 years.
Yeah.
You spent a few years around the system. Can you tell what players will make a big impact on the major league level?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's I roomed with Anthony Reyes in 2004, and I know, the first couple times I saw him pitch, he's going to be a big league guy.
Yeah.
There's guys that come out of nowhere, like, I didn't know Mike Parisi from anyone, and now this year he's throwing the heck out of the ball. Spring training, threw the heck out of the ball. He's got a great arm. But it seems like there's a lot of arms. When I first came up, pitching was a little down. There was a couple guys like Dan Herron, obviously, is a big league guy now. Narvi's back with us, but it was pretty quiet. But now there's some power arms and some good prospects. And position players, that's not really my area to critique. So it seems like it's a pitching organization first, though.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. A quote I read, momentum in baseball is only as good as your starting pitcher the next day. And I thought that was kind of strange because if you feel like your hitters are doing well, maybe you're going to play well, but do you feel that when you go out to the mound that you've got to do it or your team's just not going to succeed?
Yeah, I think we set the tempo, we set the pace. If we go out and have good quick innings with low pitches, your fielders, they're going to be more alert. You're not putting them to sleep out there. And, I live with a position player I have for, pretty much every year I've been a Cardinal, and they vouch it's the same thing. They love to play for guys that have a quick work pace and, get ahead and just get outs, So I think we definitely set the tempo.
Final question for Blake Hawksworth. What motivates you? What gets you going?
So many things. From watching, documentaries on guys, pitchers, I love the game of baseball. I study it. I watch, a lot of guys don't watch it at home, but I watch it. I'm always taking notes. I just want to be a big league pitcher, so whatever I can pick up, I try to do. But motivation is just probably the biggest thing through competition. You want to be the best at what you do, and it takes hard work and all that stuff, so that's enough for me.
It's Blake Hawksworth, Palm Beach Cardinals pitcher, starter, right-hander, and I wish you the best of luck. You sound like a great student of the game and also a fan of the game, which is always fun to watch and cheer for in the players.
Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot, Blake.
All right.
As you heard Blake and I talking about his career and where it's been, where it's going, I think right now it's not obvious where it's going. I mean, the guy is in high A. He's an extreme talent, but he's getting up there in the years. I think he's 23 right now, and the age is really going to hurt him in terms of development. He not only missed those last 2-3 years in terms of starts on the field, in terms of being healthy, he also missed development that comes along with being on the field and being around pitching coaches and learning yourself, learning your pitches, your repertoire. He couldn't do that without being on the field, the injuries he had sustained. So I wish him the best. I don't know what's going to be of his future, though. It's going to be tough to tell with Blake Hawksworth, and I think you got a little bit of a sentiment of that listening to him talk. So hope you enjoyed that. Got a couple more interviews coming up in the next half hour. But first, take a quick break, and I'll be back with the Cardinals Minor League Baseball Player of the Week.
Hi, I'm Vern Jewett, and this is Heartbeat. Have you ever noticed how words affect our mood? Every writer knows this, as do actors. Angry, hateful words bring stress and fear. Words that ring with laughter lighten the heart. Words of love heal the wounded spirit. In the Bible, Proverbs says, "Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul." In this day when so much talk is negative, hate-filled and rough, a kind word is noticed because it's so rare. Follow the wisdom in Proverbs and use pleasant words at work, at home, at school. Believe me, they will come back to you. Heartbeat comes to you through this station and the Salvation Army.
Hi, I'm Carl Edwards, driver of the number 99 AAA Ford. When I'm not racing, one of my favorite things to do is motocross. Even though it's all about fun, I would never ride a motorcycle without a helmet. Wearing a helmet is always the smart thing to do. No race car driver would ever think of going onto the racetrack without a helmet, and no one on a motorcycle should ride without a helmet. This is Carl Edwards for AAA.
For more information, please visit us at AAA.com.
Regional tournament action gets underway Wednesday for both the Clinton Maroons boys baseball team and the Lady Maroons girls softball team. 4:30 Wednesday afternoon. We'll have coverage of both games for you. The boys on WHW AM 1520 radio and the girls on ESPN radio 95.9 FM. Our coverage of spring sports brought to you by the John Warner Bank, Anderson Ford Mercury, Black Seating and Air Conditioning, Quality Glass and Trim, the Clinton Athletic Boosters Club, Kathy's Collision Center, the Prescription Shop, Cindy Monkman Realtor, and by DeWitt Savings Bank.
Hi, I'm Roseanne Cash. To millions of people, Johnny Cash was a music legend. To me, he was just Dad. When he died, a lot of people thought a lifetime of hard living finally caught up with him. And it's true, Dad had his demons. But he also had diabetes. For years, he ignored it, even as his health and vision slipped away. Until one day, as he sat in his office, surrounded by books he could no longer read, he said to me, "This is a room full of regrets now." Diabetes is serious. It can steal your sight, your limbs, and worst of all, take you away from the people who love you. But it doesn't have to be this way. If you have diabetes, test and control your blood sugar regularly. You'll be healthier and you'll feel better too. For a free new guide on managing your blood sugar daily, visit healthywithdiabetes.org. A message from the American Association of Diabetes Educators.
Menards is where you always save big money on quality products for your home. Spend more time relaxing and less time working on your home with aluminum soffit and fascia systems. They also help give your home needed ventilation. On sale in 13 colors that never need painting, starting at just $216 a lineal foot for a 12-inch overhang. Save big during Menards Race to Savings Sale.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome back into Down on the Farm. My name is Andrew Force. You're listening to Down on the Farm. You can be heard 90 minutes before Cubs games, Cubs pre-games, every week. So that means there's a Cubs game today. Hopefully the rain will stay away. 1:20 is first pitch. 12:40 is pre-game for the Cubs. But now it's time for the St. Louis Cardinals Minor League Player of the Week. Pretty easy decision this week as I was looking around for pitchers in each of the systems. Stuart Pomeranz. Pomeranz is pitching Double-A ball right now. Ended last year at Double-A, didn't do too well, 5-6 ERA +5. But this year he's doing much better. In fact, on May 5th, picked up his third win of the season, moved to 3-0 with a great outing. 3 hits, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. The 1 run was a home run, but his ERA moved down to 4.05 in 7 innings pitched. Stewart, he acquired his 3rd win of the season. May 12th, next week. That was just a couple of days ago. He moved to 4-0 with a win, no runs given up, struck out 3, walked 1 batter, and 6 2/3 innings. So a little bit longer. Also moved his ERA down to 3.38, and again picked up his 4th win of the season. Both of those games just gave up 1 run. The team gave up 1 run. And Stuart Pomeranz is the Cardinals Minor League Player of the Week. He's a Double-A player right now, looking at his future, projecting out where he's going to be next year. He's not moving real fast, but he is a very good player. He's the 10th best prospect in minor league baseball for the Cardinals, according to Baseball America, which, as you know probably, or if you don't, it is, for all intents and purposes, the Bible of minor league baseball. They just do a great job, and I'd say he's probably going to make AAA this year, late in the year. He's probably not going to make the St. Louis Cardinals roster until next year. And that's assuming there's openings. And the Cardinals pitching staff right now is pretty solid. They project him out to be a starter, but he could move into the bullpen if need be. So he's a right-hander, stands 6'7", 235. Look for him perhaps in the Cardinals' future within the next year, maybe a little bit longer, but he's got the stuff. And as you heard Blake Hawksworth talking just about 10 minutes ago, the Cardinals pitchers in their minor leagues are much better than they were 2-3 years ago. They've really improved there. They've started to draft pitchers high. They've started to pan out. They haven't traded as many away as they once did with Dan Herron and the like. So stay tuned, though. Coming up, White Sox for the next 20 minutes. Got an interview with Lance Broadway. And you're listening to Down on the Farm. Got an opportunity to hear SportsCenter right now.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. It has been 5 straight days to no home runs for Barry Bonds. His last coming a week ago today. Number 713 came against the Phillies, trying to tie Babe Ruth. He's won it back. Bonds yesterday 0 for 3 with a walk in the Giants' comeback win over the Dodgers. In fact, Bonds just 1 for his last 17 since Tuesday. Does have 6 walks during that time. Later today, the Giants and the Dodgers wrap up the 3-game series from AT&T Park. Jason Schmidt goes for San Francisco. Jay So goes for the Dodgers. That could be good news for Bonds. So is allowed 8 home runs in 33 innings of work this season. NBA playoffs this afternoon, a pair of Game 4s. Starting the Eastern Conference semifinals, the Miami Heat visiting the New Jersey Nets comes your way on ESPN Radio 2 hours from now. Miami coming off a 103-92 win on a Friday night thanks to Dwayne Wade. Scored 26 in the fourth quarter, 15 in the final 4.5 minutes. Wade's got 61 points over his last 2 games. Heat lead that series 2-1. Later tonight, Game 4 Western Conference semis, Phoenix and the LA Clippers from Staples Center. Suns coming off a 3-point win in game number 3. First time of the series, the winner had not gone over 100 points. NHL playoffs tonight. New Jersey's at Carolina, 7 Eastern time. Game 5, Hurricanes go for the knockout punch. 10 Eastern time tonight, Edmonton and San Jose, Game 5. That series tied up at 2 games apiece. The non-Barry Bonds portion of the Major League Baseball schedule beginning at this hour. We start the National League. The Washington Nationals visiting the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta has won 3 in a row. Thank you, Jeff Francoeur. Game-winning grand slam last night. Braves send John Thompson to the mound this afternoon. Tony Armas goes for Washington. Nationals have lost 4 in a row. Philadelphia red hot. Winners of 12 of the last 13. Visit Cincinnati. Brett Myers against Brandon Clausen. Also at the bottom of the hour, Florida is in Pittsburgh. Brian Moeller hasn't won in 22 straight starts. Pittsburgh sending Ian Snell to the mound. American League games just getting underway. Detroit is at Cleveland. Oakland in New York against the Yankees. Randy Johnson on the mound for New York, 5-3, ERA of 5.
Sports Center, every 20 minutes. ESPN Radio.
It's a simple thing. Just a ball and a goal. But once every 4 years, that simple thing closes the shops, closes a city, stops a war, and achieves more than the politicians ever could. Once every 4 years, a ball does the impossible. And if history means anything, the world as we know it is about to change.
The FIFA World Cup, June 9th through July 9th on ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC. All matches available in HD.
Into Down on the Farm. You're listening to ESPN Radio 95.9 FM. You've got an opportunity to hear Lance Broadway, very early draft pick for the Chicago White Sox just a year ago. Interview with him will be in just a matter of moments. I've got that in about 2 minutes from now. But first, the White Sox Player of the Week. You heard me mention just about 10 minutes ago, maybe less, that this week I'm looking at pitchers, looking at what pitchers are succeeding in the minor league systems of the Cardinals, White Sox, and the Cubs. Well, looking around the White Sox, it was pretty easy because it was a combined 2-hitter. A lot of times in the minor leagues, you won't see guys get complete games simply because they're on pitch counts or because they want to see their bullpens develop. But that said, 2 players together put together a 2-hitter for the Winston-Salem Warthogs. That's the high A affiliate of your Chicago White Sox. Lucas Harrell and Fernando Hernandez Jr. combined. So since I usually pick one guy for the Player of the Week, I picked the starter as he went longer in the game. Lucas Harrell went 7 frames, nearly flawless. He had 7 innings pitched, 1 hit given up, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, lowering his ERA to 2.23. So great outing by him, improves his record to 2-1. And the only hit was a leadoff bunt single. Sometimes managers, sometimes players get a little touchy about that when you break up a no-hitter with a bunt single, but I'm not one to gossip. I think that's a bunt single's a single, you know, whatever you're going to do. One thing that Harrell did that was successful that you like to see from your starter, 11 ground outs, 4 flyouts. Kept the ball on the ground. Like to see that. Don't want him driving the ball in the gaps over the fence. So he had a good outing, and that's your White Sox minor league Player of the Week, Lucas Harrell. Up next, Lance Broadway. I mentioned last year he was drafted early on, and you'll get an opportunity to hear him talk about his minor league careers thus far. It's very brief, but very successful. This is Lance Broadway, Down on the Farm. Welcome back to Down on the Farm. I'm joined with Lance Broadway, pitches for the Birmingham Barons, AA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox. Lance, first off, from Texas. Talked to a couple of guys from Texas. They produce just some serious baseball talent. And it's not just baseball, you know, football, basketball, everything in Texas. Forget the fact that your very high school produced Kerry Wood, Kevin Walker. How can one state grow such great talents in pitching, which is kind of an individual aspect?
Well, I guess it's just because the state's so big. We got so many daggone people that come through there. Plus, it's hot, so you can play baseball all year long, unlike some of the other schools up there in the north. They can only play baseball for so long during the year.
Did you grow up hearing anything about Kerry Wood, who he was, what he's done?
Yeah, well, mainly, you know, Kerry Wood was at another high school, too, until he came to Grand Prairie High for his junior or senior year. Can't really remember which one. But once he got there, yeah, that's all you heard about when it came to Grand Prairie baseball was Kerry Wood, because he had a golden arm, and he was definitely a special talent.
All right, in 20 years, will that high school be known as the home of Kerry Wood, or will you drive into this town, large wooden sign welcomes visitors to the childhood home of Lance Broadway?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say Lance Broadway. That's what I hope.
There you go.
Kerry Wood wasn't long enough. It wasn't there long enough for that to happen.
Who is your Batman? George Clooney, Val Kilmer, Michael Keaton, Adam West?
Ooh. I'm going to go ahead and say Michael Keaton, man. He was the original one.
That's right.
For me.
That's how I am, too. At least I'm of the age where Adam West didn't mean much to me. But
Adam West, that's not real Batman. That's just goofball television.
Does the time put in, the money, the work-life dynamic of professional baseball, does that get in the way of making it fun like when you're a kid playing?
No, not for me. It's, I don't know, it makes it more fun to me. It makes it more real. It makes it more meaningful, because all the time and the effort, and even, you don't really think about the business side of the game. At least I don't. I don't think most players do at this level. If they do, it's a shame. It's a shame that they're even in the game. But, no, I don't think it gets in the way, man. I think it just makes the competition that much better and the victory that much sweeter.
You grew up in Texas, so White Sox probably weren't your team, but can you name your favorite all-time Chicago White Sox baseball player?
Favorite all-time Chicago White Sox. Growing up, Frank Thomas.
It's a good one.
That's the only guy I even knew who played for the White Sox.
That's kind of how it is. If they're not from your town, then you kind of just hear about them if they're superstars. Do you remember your shortest professional start?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. It wasn't real good. My very last professional start, which was last year, I just come off the start before throwing 4 innings, giving up 8 earned runs, and Coach wasn't going to let me do that one again, so he pulled me out after 3 innings, giving up 5 earned runs. It was my last start of the year in Potomac.
Something to stew over all winter long then?
A little bit. It was a good 2 weeks to stew over, man. I didn't have anything left. It was late in the year, and I wasn't used to throwing as much as I had been, and I couldn't make the adjustments, and I was just getting pounded.
You've said that you were a late bloomer, and that's probably true. I mean, not like you weren't a good baseball player before, but do you think with the improvement of your curveball was why you became such a great pitcher?
No, because I don't care how good your curveball is. You throw your fastball right down the middle of the plate, up in the zone all day long, you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
What happened for me was going to Dallas Baptist, getting around coaches who had been in the game for a long time. Our pitching coach had played professional ball for 10 years. He had an idea of what's going on. And, growing up through high school, I had the talent. I had good coaches, but I wasn't ready to listen. I wasn't ready just to shut my mouth and try to win the game. And I was forced to my freshman year in college, one, because I had nowhere to go. Kind of reality study, hey, maybe you're not as good as you think you are. And 2, our coaches ran a pretty tight ship as their way of the highway, knowing I had nowhere else to go if I get cut. It forced me to shut my mouth, listen, and follow the rules and just try and be a better baseball player. And it worked out for me.
2005 was a pretty long year for you. You played not only the college baseball season with 19 games, 16 of those being starts, and then you play the whole minor league season. Does that burn you out physically, emotionally, mentally?
I wouldn't say it didn't burn me out mentally. It burned me out physically. I was getting towards the end. I was just ready to call it a year, and not that if I was pitching great, that it would have helped a little bit. But knowing that I'm struggling, it's a different ball game. The way that I pitched in college wasn't really working as much in professional baseball. Guys are better hitters. They're not just swinging at everything you throw up there. So yeah, mentally, it was a drain, but more so physically. Physically, because I didn't have anything left.
You mentioned how some of the stuff you threw in college wasn't working in the pros, the minor leagues, but you pitched this year for the White Sox in the spring training season. Did you get an opportunity to see what it is you need to work on then for later?
Oh yeah, I got my first spring training game up there in the big leagues. I learned real quick what I need to work on, and that was just fastball location. I realized real quick that if that fastball is over the middle of the plate, it's going to get hit, and that's what happened.
On the field, you can tell what you need to work on, but off the field, was there any distinct memories you pulled away from being around guys who are doing exactly what you want to be doing within a year, 2 years?
Off the field, just work ethic. The guys are up there, they work hard. They're not up there just because there's no one else to put up there. They can always find new guys. The guys up there, they know their job. They're professionals about it. They're there on time, and it's their life. And even in college, I've loved baseball my entire career. It's when you're in professional baseball, it's your life. You don't go to school all day and then go play baseball at the end of the day. You get up, you go play baseball all day long, and you go back to bed. And it's a cycle. And making the adjustment last year, that's one thing I think I might have struggled with. I wasn't used to having baseball be my life all day long. And to see how those guys manage their time and are constantly ready to go mentally is a big key, I think, to their success.
Was that a surprise to you? I would think that being around guys who are doing their job every day, maybe they'd come across as blasé and almost as if they didn't care, even though they do, just because they've been doing this for so long, and these guys are obviously very talented. You might think to yourself, well, what are they working so hard for?
Well, I guess you could say that, but the fear of failing is a big part of it. When you're that good, and you know what's got you to that point, and it's working hard, taking care of your business, taking care of your body. That's what's got you that far. You've had success, and you know how quick everyone's failed. You know how quick you can go back down the ladder. How quick it can all turn around on you. And I think the fear to fail is what's keeping those guys. At least for me, it keeps me in tune to know, hey, this is what you got to do, man. There's guys right behind you wanting to take your job every day. Take care of your business and stay with it, or give your job to somebody else.
What is your favorite animal? Do you have one?
Dogs. I like dogs.
Did you have one growing up?
I had a dog growing up. We had a couple of them. Then until they'd run away or somehow get lost.
I was checking out message boards, trying to gauge interest of fans because they don't necessarily know as much about minor leagues as major leagues, but I read one post where a girl said, Lance Broadway's a natural. This is probably after your TCU career. She said, Lance Broadway's a natural, definitely worth watching to become big someday. Oh, and he's cute, too. I thought that was funny, but do you find the celebrity status that you could attain in time scary, or is that just something you're going to have to deal with and you hope you can?
Man, I don't really even think about it. But if I'm going to go ahead and think about it, it kind of sounds fun to me. I'd rather be thought of maybe in that light than not, I guess. It actually just kind of seems fun. I'm up for the challenge.
If you need to clear your mind from baseball, from whatever, where do you go? Physically, what place do you go to?
Oh, that's a good question. Man, I guess I just, that's a good question. Normally, if I'm going to clear my mind, where do I go? I find myself probably I'm driving. I'll go for just a drive out, get away from the city, go drive. I like rivers, like bodies of water, just rivers, lakes. I'll go off somewhere in the country, just drive and think about life.
Let's talk a little bit about your pitches. You've got fastball, two fastballs, two-seam, four-seam. You got the curveball and changeup. Is that what you throw?
Yeah.
The spike curveball. I've heard that before, but I don't know exactly what that means. What does that mean in terms of where does it break and how do you hold it?
How do I hold it? I hold it on the back side of the horseshoe. A lot of people throw a different spike. A knuckle curve will tuck their index finger completely in where their first knuckle is sitting on the ball. I can't do that. So I spike it, which means the end of my index finger is resting on the ball.
Okay.
And as far as how does it break, typically your spikes and your knuckle curves are going to be a true 12 to 6.
Right.
Sometimes mine's a true 12 to 6. I get there and I throw it as hard as I can. But I think more times than not, mine's a little more of a 1 to 7. And then if I'm throwing it in the dirt, I throw it. It's a little harder than most curveballs. It comes across as a slider, which no one throws a spike slider. It's just sometimes I might get around it a little bit, and it'll maybe have a little more of a 2 to 8 break. But it's pretty quick break, and that's why I get a lot of swings and misses out of it.
Talking with Lance Broadway, pitching for the AA Birmingham Barons, Chicago White Sox farm system. Just a couple more questions about your pitches. Where did you learn the circle change?
Just over the years, I never throw it, even though people have, hey, here's a changeup, here's how you do this. Everyone pretty much throws a changeup the same way. It's a pretty popular method, that circle change. Well, it really came, I dabbled with it over the years in college a little bit, but I'd say for someone who actually taught me, it would be just one of my pitching coach at Dallas Baptist. Even though I never threw it, he's the one that just showed me a grip for it. And I really started working with Kurt Champion, our pitching coordinator, and instructs on it. They just said, hey, you don't need to throw any curveballs. We know you can throw a curveball. Let's work on the changeup. And that's what I did, all instructs for a whole month. And it got better. It got better. So I guess this instructs is when I really started working on it.
You throw 2-seam, 4-seam. The 2-seam obviously is intended to have more movement. How do you know where it's going to go, and how do you pinpoint accuracy when you've got a ball like that moving, hopefully, quite a bit?
Well, I don't throw it to right-handers very much because I can't control it. I'm not Greg Maddux yet. I can't throw, Greg Maddux can throw that 2-seamer outside corner and have it run back in on the plate. I can't do that. I throw it to lefties most of the time. I just throw it right down the middle of the plate and hopefully trust that it's going to have the right action on it. Now, if it doesn't, it's going to be right in the middle of the plate, and that's not good. But for the most part, I know if I stay through the pitch and release it like I'm supposed to, it's going to sink away from the hitter and get ground balls.
Last question for Lance Broadway. Do you have any external pressure you feel from, you've got friends, family, former teammates, coaches, all of which have seen you and know what you can do? Does that weigh on you? Do you feel that pressure, or do you just kind of shrug it off and do what you have to do?
No, I don't think about it. I don't feel that at all because my parents don't make me feel that way. My friends, they don't. They've seen me fail all through high school. I failed, so it's not something I'm not used to, and it's not something they're not used to. So if I have a bad game, we all shake it off. Oh well, no big deal. And they know that each level I get to, there's an adjustment period. It's not like I'm going to go in and just dominate every level. I don't have 95-mile-an-hour fastballs like Kerry Wood. And so they understand the process, and they're patient. I'm patient, and we know that as long as I take care of my business, eventually I'm going to succeed more than I fail.
Lance Broadway, thanks so much for your time and continued success in your future. I enjoyed talking with you and hopefully following you all the way to the major leagues this year or next.
All right, thank you.
It's time for Down on the Farm 5. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Today for Down on the Farm 5, I was looking around at best promotions, best on-field promotions from minor league baseball, which is what they're known for, honestly. A lot of times you've got families, you've got fans going to games specifically to see the on-field promotions. But I wanted to be even more specific this time through. I'll probably do that sometime later in the season. And I picked one that's just outstanding. Superstars. S-Z-O-O per stars. And I don't know if you've ever seen them. Don't know if you've ever seen them perform, heard about them being at a ballpark near you. You have to go. They are hilarious. Probably the best on-field promotion there is because they're professionals, obviously, first and foremost. And they're the equivalent of mascots, but they're so much more funny than mascots. They're these big inflatable, think if you're going to a fair and you see one of those big inflatable bouncy castles and you're jumping around on it, imagine one of those as a costume. So you shrink it down to about a ridiculous 6 to 7 feet tall, maybe even 8 feet tall, and there's a person inside of it who can hop up onto his head, or he can roll around on the ground, he can stand on one arm. Essentially what I've heard, and I've never been inside one of these costumes, is they can rearrange their bodies inside the costume so that even though the guy is standing on his arm, it could be one of his legs in actuality. That may or may not be true, but it is absolutely hilarious. It's astounding, and not the least of which entertaining part of them is actually their names, which are quite humorous. You might have even heard of them by their names. For instance, Clemmy Sosa. See, they take the names and then they kind of make it into an animal because these are, in essence, animals, mascots. The 5 best superstars, names, and characters. These are my top 5 for Down on the Farm 5. Number 5, Mickey Mantelope, which sounds pretty funny, I think, yeah. Number 4, Ichirochi Suzuki is a roach wearing a Mariner uniform that I apparently has somewhat of an Asian look to him, as Suzuki does. But Ichirochi Suzuki's number 4 on the Down on the Farm 5. Number 3, Dion Salamanders. Pretty funny name and pretty funny character. These top 2 are ones that I've seen in person, and they are, if not the best, they should be up there. Number 2, Elephants Presley. Elephants Presley's, I guess that's kind of clever, don't you think? And then finally, Harry Canary. While the name might not be the best, it is by far and away the most revered superstar. You will see him every game you go to. Speaking of what games you can go to see them, these are the 3 dates I've got coming up. The superstars will be in and around Illinois. So check these guys out. Write this down, by the way. Your family's going to want to go. You're going to want to go. You've got Kane County Cougars, which is right next to Chicago, kind of north, or actually it's pretty much due west of Chicago. Kane County Cougars. You can see them May 27th. May 27th. The superstars will be at the Kane County Cougars. That's a Saturday. The next Friday, June 2nd, the Peoria Chiefs will have the superstars in-house. And the superstars are worth the price of admission and more. Oh yeah, and there's a baseball game going on as well. They're pretty much between innings affairs, but they can also be kind of on the concourse running around. They'll sign autographs. They'll do all that. So definitely worth your time and money. And then that Saturday, the 24th of June, the Gateway Grizzlies will host the Superstars as well. So that's 3 opportunities to see these Superstars in action. You've got the Kane County Cougars, the 27th of May, June 2nd, Peoria Chiefs, and then June 24th, the Gateway Grizzlies. Check out Ichirochi Suzuki, Elephants Presley, Harry Canary, and all of the like. So that's these Superstars this week's Down on the Farm 5. Up next, I've got an interview with Adam Greenberg. Real quick, let me remind you this guy. This is his story, if you will. Gets called up last year, probably around late July, early August, called up to the Major League level. They're looking for a solution for Corey Patterson, who's obviously not working for the Chicago Cubs. Greenberg comes into the game. I'm watching this over at my parents' house, and I'm sure some of you saw it. If not saw it live, you saw it on replays. Greenberg comes up to the plate. Very first pitch of his Major League career. Bam! In the head. He gets hit in the face for his very first pitch of his Major League career. Helmet comes off. He's on the ground for probably 3 minutes, which seems like an eternity. Welcome to the big leagues, kid. You know, it's not really the way you planned on starting it. Not the way you laid in your bed at night dreaming of Major League Baseball and your first at bat, you're going to hit a home run. You didn't think the ball was going to hit you in the face, and it did. So Greenberg got sent down subsequently and tried to battle his way back up. That's what this interview is about, briefly about that. I didn't want to get into it too deep because I'm sure that's a little bit traumatic. But that and more with the AAA player for the minor league baseball Cubbies, Adam Greenberg, on Down on the Farm. Welcome back to Down on the Farm. I'm talking with Adam Greenberg, playing for the Iowa Cubs, the AAA affiliate of the Chicago Cubs. Have you ever heard of a courtesy runner for the catcher?
Courtesy runner, yes, and I think that's down in like Little League, right?
Yeah. I was watching my high school play the other night, and they had a courtesy runner for the catcher. Both teams had to agree upon it before the game, but do you have any opinions on that, if they should even use that at any level?
I certainly don't, because the higher you go, you're going to have to run whether you're a catcher or pitcher or whatever. So I don't agree with that. I guess the whole point is to speed the game up or whatever. But no, you got to run no matter who you are.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same opinion. Do you have a favorite throwback jersey?
I mean, I like a lot of the old jerseys. I think we should wear them more often. I just think it's it's got a cool little look to it, and I like it when the teams start wearing it.
Last year, you and Matt Merton came up basically the same time. Without the shot to your head, you might be where he is now instead of him. Do you think of that? Is that something you concern yourself with?
No way. No chance. I mean, everything happens for a reason. Unfortunately, what happened to me happened. But, you just make the best of all the situations that you get. And, I'm thrilled to death that Matt's got the opportunity he has, and he's making the most of it. So, no, I don't ever think about it. I just try to go about my business and just do the best that I can.
Another kind of question you brought up there with your answer is, do you feel that sense of joy for other players when they get the call, just like when you do?
Absolutely. I mean, because I know how difficult it is to get there, and, the kind of struggles that you have to go through. So, when someone else gets rewarded, you can't help but be happy for them, because it's such a tough road. And you become friends with so many guys, and when you just see other people succeed, it just makes you feel better.
Terminator 2 or X-Men 2, which was the better sequel?
Wow, I'd have to say Terminator 2. I've never seen X-Men 2, to be honest with you, so that's an easy one.
Would you say, if you were looking at a line, are you more towards the free swinger side or the patient side in terms of your approach at the plate?
Well, I would say patient. I have to be. What I do best when I'm doing it best, it's getting on base and being patient, making the pitcher work. Hopefully showing the other guys what he's got, and so getting deep in counts and working my walks is. So I guess that would be along the lines of being patient.
Batting left-handed, you a lot of times see late inning games where pitchers or managers will bring in pitchers that throw left-handed to face you or other left-handers. Is that overplayed, do you think?
I think a lot of times it is. And then if you start failing or whatever, or if a manager doesn't have confidence in the concept, then it starts really getting overplayed. But the bottom line is there's just not as many left-handed pitchers in the game. So, coming up at any level, through Little League straight up to the big leagues, you're generally seeing more right-handed pitchers. So, I guess just a matter if there were more left-handed pitchers and you're seeing lefties all the time as a left-handed batter, I don't think we would be having the same conversation.
Is there a better condiment for hot dogs than ketchup?
No chance. No.
And are hot dogs the best food you can buy at a ballpark?
At a ballpark? A good hot dog at a ballpark? No way. That's the best thing you can get.
There you go. I like your answer so far. Larry Walker went for 400, I want to say mid to late 90s, and then he came up against Randy Johnson. They set him down that day. I thought that was kind of a cop-out, kind of just taking a back seat to what would amount to going for it all, beating the very best left-handed pitcher against a left-handed batter. Do you think that that's the same as I view it, or do you think it's more going for what you have to do, doing what you have to do to get where you want?
Well, to be honest, I can't comment on that either way, because I don't know the situation. I can't remember the situation, whether the team needed a win or anything like that. So as far as that goes, maybe he was sitting down because in the past he hadn't had success against Randy Johnson. So I think there's a lot of variables. But if it was strictly just to go for, hitting 400, I would agree with you that you want to beat the best, no matter if you're going for a record here or there. It would just add to it, just make it that much sweeter.
I'm joined with Adam Greenberg, left-handed bat for the Iowa Cubs, AAA affiliate of the Chicago Cubs. Confidence is so big for a hitter. Could you talk about what you do to keep your confidence at a high?
Have success.
So basically, just succeed and it breeds confidence?
No, basically, 100%. I mean, it is all about confidence, and the pitcher can smell it in the hitter, and the hitter can smell it in the pitcher, whether they have it that day or whatever. It's a daily struggle. I mean, you just have to know that you can do it. If you've had success in the past, you just have to build and thrive on that. So if you are struggling, that's what you have to go back to, and just constantly work. And the more you work, the more you start. You reinforce good habits and feeling good, and that's where you start drawing from your confidence. And then, once you get in the games and you have that success, well, and your confidence builds. So.
The Cubs organization decides when and where you move up and down. Do you ever get reasons behind that, or you just get the call, you're going up, you're going down, that's about it?
Primarily, you just get the call. You can, for the most part, figure things out in your own head. But the bottom line is kind of like I said earlier, whatever the situation is, whatever the reasons are, you just make the most of it. You try not to look too far into it, because if you go out and do your job, do what you're supposed to do, good things will happen.
In baseball, minor league baseball, major league baseball, there's a lot of groupies. There's a lot of stragglers wandering around trying to catch on to you guys like barnacles. Do you have a sport, a movie actor, a musician, a singer that you would be a groupie for?
There's no one that I can think of right now that I would be a groupie for. But baseball is it's one of those things, just like actors or whatever, that it gives people something to cheer for and something to really root for. So to be honest with you, I think it's great. It keeps us having a job. People are interested in what we do, and they want to come out to the park and send you your baseball card to sign and all that. So I think it's awesome.
I'm still talking with Adam Greenberg, outfielder for the Iowa Cubs. Which would make you feel more guilty? Would it be missing a sign from the third base coach, or would it be a base running error?
More guilty. I don't know. They're both pretty bad. I think certainly a base running error would potentially hurt your team, but also missing a sign from that manager could be the difference in winning or losing. So I think they're both right up there.
All right, same question, except it's your teammate that commits to the blunder. Would you be more upset with him for the base running error or the missed sign?
I guess I'd say the missed sign, to be honest, because now that I think about it, the team itself would feel the wrath certainly from the manager, and it put everyone in kind of a downer situation. So I would say missing a sign.
You play corner outfield. Do you think you're more comfortable at right field or left field? Which is your more natural position if you had to have one?
Well, my more natural position would be center, and but either one. At this point in my career, I've played probably about equal time at all three spots. So you throw me out in left, right, center every day. It wouldn't matter. Switch me during the game. It's I've done it so long, that it doesn't make a difference.
I find that interesting. A lot of times with infielders that I've talked to, they have the ability to play more than one position, and it can sometimes even work against you in that the manager doesn't see you as the right fielder. They say, oh, he can play a couple positions, don't worry about him. Do you think it's better to have one position or a multitude of positions when trying to move up?
Well, I think without question, the more you have in your repertoire, the more positions you can play, it enhances your overall value. When you're tasked as the shortstop, the center fielder, the third baseman, certainly that makes you feel great, because that's what you have to worry about. But if you are trying to advance, and let's say there's a roadblock in front of you at one of those positions that you're slated at, then the ability to play other positions really becomes invaluable to you. So.
This is kind of a tough question because I'm a Cubs fan at heart, and I followed Corey Patterson from when he was drafted to when he's released, or rather traded by the Cubs. You've been around him, played with him. Now you played with his brother earlier in the year, Eric Patterson. how does it feel to a guy, do you think, to go through such a situation where he was #1 overall draft pick, given all the money in the world, all the accolades, but also a lot of pressure? Is that something that you think you could deal with if it came down to it?
I mean, could I deal with the fact of being #1 and D guy?
Yeah.
I mean, of course I would say yes. But can I say that he had to deal with a lot of very difficult situations? Absolutely. When you are in that situation, and you have some failures, everything is magnified, tenfold, 1,000-fold, and that's kind of that's kind of what it appears that he had been going through. That big city Chicago and all the pressure in the world, and you start faltering a little bit, and like you talked about confidence earlier, it's hard to pull from that if everything around you is negative. So, I could say, right now with you, yeah, be no problem. And I just think when everyone's faced with adversity in certain situations, you just got to pull through it. And I do know Corey, and he's got what it takes, and he's going to succeed no matter what, because he's got the ability and the right head for it. So.
All right, your baseball card, your Major League Baseball card comes out next year, tops. What's the interesting fact about Adam Greenberg on the back?
Interesting fact. Well, I like one. I mean, I had the hit for the cycle in 4 innings a couple years ago in Daytona. So that's a cool fact.
Those are 4 consecutive innings?
Yeah, first four innings of the game.
That's pretty incredible, I'd say. Well, Adam Greenberg, best of luck to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, no problem. Anytime.
That's Adam Greenberg, and he's going to be with the Cubs either late this year or early next year. You know he's going to be in the Cubs outfield sometime in the future, or traded, because he's just that good. I mean, he's a Major League Baseball player in the waiting. If the Cubs decide to use him or not, that's a matter of opinion. I think a lot of that has to do at this stage with money. I mean, you're paying Jock Jones a lot of money to play right field, whether he succeeds or not. You don't want to eat that salary very willy-nilly. So we'll see what happens there, but that's Adam Greenberg, and I think it's nice to see a guy that, as I mentioned earlier, had such a horrific start to his Major League career, is probably going to have a better Major League career this time around, don't you think? Now I'm looking at the Chicago Cubs minor league, baseball player of the week. And pitchers are the focus this week, and it just so happens there's a Cubs pitcher in the minor league system this week that you may have heard of. A young, maybe middle-aged even in Major League Baseball terms, Kerry Wood. Making his rehab starts last Sunday. He rehabbed in Peoria. Last Friday, he rehabbed in Des Moines, Iowa. And both were very successful starts. I was over at the game in Peoria, and he looked tremendous. Fastball got up a little bit. Don't like that. But his curveball was amazing, and his fastball was very fast, which is key, being a fast ball. So he is this week's Chicago Cubs minor league player of the week. Not ideal minor league player, because he's not really a prototypical minor league player. He's rehabbing. But he did have 2 starts, one of which with the Peoria Chiefs. He struck out 12 in 5 innings. That's 12 out of 15 outs recorded to be a strikeout. He had 1 walk and 1 hit. I want to hit 1 guy too. Iowa Cubs start, he got the loss, but he only gave up 1 earned run, struck out 3, walked 2. Gave up 5 hits in 5 innings, and the starts, he threw 10 innings between the 2 starts, and he's actually tabbed to go this upcoming Thursday. So look for him to start Thursday afternoon against the Washington Nationals. That's Chicago Cubs minor league player of the week, Kerry Wood. That'll do it for me. I'll be back next week with Down on the Farm as well. Stay tuned, though, as now Chicago Cubs pregame starts on your home for ESPN Radio and Cubs baseball, ESPN Radio 95.9 FM.
Sunday afternoon. You know you won't be perfect, you won't be pure. You change everything, everything. Change everything, everything.
Saturday, May 20th, Great American Wrestling presents Freedom Cup at the Old Maroa Grade School in Maroa. The Freedom Cup Finals features Petey Clark, Alex Monroe, and Brett Kakia. You don't want to miss